Live from Kakariko Village. Broadcast throughout the Retroverse, transmitted to the real world via a maze of wires connecting a Super Nintendo to a Wii, to a Wi-Fi network, and finally to the internet. The Techno Funk Boy presents the Retro Zoo Super Show. Now here are your hosts, Kai and Steven. Steven.
Drum.
Steven, it is time to start the show.
Kai's not here, dude.
We are a live broadcast.
I know, but Kai runs the show. He's the boss man, and I don't see him anywhere.
He is outside.
Why is he outside? He knows the show's about to start.
He is looking for ninjas.
Oh my goodness. Is this from the last episode?
He has been a little paranoid.
Okay. I'm going to have to write a subroutine for you to schedule an appointment for Kai. He needs to see his therapist. Maybe make it for 9:30 tomorrow.
Affirmative.
Actually, yeah, that sounds good. So this is getting to be a little ridiculous.
Steven, we have a caller.
We can't have a caller. Kai's not here yet.
We have a caller on line 1.
Not line 1. Okay, go ahead and hold him for a minute. Do something to stretch it out, and I'm gonna open the window and I'm gonna holler at Kai if I can see him. Hold on. Kai! The episode's about to start! We got a caller on line 1! Come on, dude!
I am the caller!
Drum, answer.
Steven!
Kai, what are you doing, dude? The show started. There's a caller.
No, I am the caller.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so the outside is clear. But before we start, are there any ninjas inside?
Drum, are there any ninjas inside?
Negative.
Drum's done a full scan.
Wait, no, that's the water cooler.
Well, I'm actually a ninja. I've done ninja training.
That is untrue.
Drum, turn off truth subroutines for now. We're gonna need to tone those down a little bit, okay? I didn't mean to say I was a ninja. I witnessed ninja training, and I think I know what ninjas do, and it's just not that big of a deal. I mean, just some flying jump kicks and knife chops to the neck.
Steven?
Yeah?
Are there any ninjas inside?
Aside from me, no.
Reading one ninja, that is Steven.
Yes! See?
Okay, alright, I'm coming in. Hold on.
I got it covered. Alright.
Wow, I came in, my pop guard messed up. Let's try that again. Okay. Alright, Drum, let's get a countdown for when we're live.
Start this show.
We already are live.
Oh, wait. You mean people are listening to us right now?
Affirmative.
I feel undressed.
Not that many people.
How many people? Give us a count, Drum. Actually, rescind that quiet request. Let's just
Okay, so we're live. That was a question.
Yes.
Affirmative.
Oh.
Okay. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. is a little awkward. How long have we been live?
Approximately 4 minutes.
That's probably not good.
Yeah, well, dear listener, please forgive us for any awkward moments you might have heard, and know that with our sincere hearts, we beckon you to stay.
Well, welcome anyways. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for sticking with us. I am your host, Kai. I am here with Steven as always. And by always, I mean for the first time in 2 weeks.
Yes, and I just like to say I missed being here. It was very difficult times.
He had the runs.
No, I was going to clarify that. I had to run. I told Drum I had to run home. I had a family emergency. So the runs part of it. Okay. You know, can we just get past this? I know actually it was a bowel issue, but
all right. And our producer, as always, is Drum. Drum, how are you doing?
I am functioning normally.
It's good. Nice. Drum, by the way, with all of your subroutines that I found out that you had added, is good or is okay at ninja detection, is not very good with ninja defense. So maybe you can work on that with your next update. Steven.
Yeah, that would be, I can train you on some ninja moves. Drum, we'll work on those subroutines. I'm thinking, the jump kick might be a little tough for you, but, the throat chop might work.
All right. Well, we are really glad that you joined us today. Have a pretty good episode lined up for you. We are talking about a puzzle game, and it'd be interesting in an era where puzzle games have gone mobile and they've been focused on in-app purchases and that sort of thing, and really gotten a bad rap. So we're going to go back to I guess the original puzzle giant, the one that really, in all honesty, probably changed video game history. And that, of course, is Tetris. And so, before we get to that, we do have a little bit of news. Looks like a great ancient underground empire has recently been discovered. It's unclear at this point, but it does appear to be ruled over by some sort of wizard or game master. We're not really sure, but teams are excavating the ruins now. So far, they have learned that an elfish sword and a good lantern are pretty much required equipment in the exploration. I was not able to get a location as to where this excavation is taking place, but it does appear to be underneath a white house.
Oh, Zork!
Zork indeed. All right, so Steven, before we get into Tetris, there's just a couple of house cleaning items that need to be addressed. And so we finally got back to looking into, I guess it was the first podcast episode we did, where you said one of your earliest gaming memories was Google.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was dumb.
Yeah.
And I searched and searched and searched, and I could not find a game named Google. And I even went to the Wikipedia page that listed out all of the Commodore 64 games.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and
there was Commodore 64.
There was no Google. And so, triumphantly, having been proven right and just feeling great about myself, that I knew that you were full of it. I knew you were making stuff up. I knew that people were laughing at us for thinking that there was a game called Google and that I was wasting my time looking up Google as a video game. I sent you a text that said there is no video game called Google.
I remember getting that text, and
and you responded in about 5 minutes with information on the game Google.
Yeah.
So, I'm sorry for doubting you.
No, it's quite all right. You know, I've actually got the name wrong, which might have made your search difficult. It was a game called Google Math Games. It was an educational game, and Google was spelled Googol, and it was a DOS game, actually.
Google.
So yeah, I actually
I
had
was looking in the wrong spot, and I was looking for the wrong title.
Spelling and right, and it's a DOS game. I think Commodore was early. I don't know if you could. I don't know much.
Commodore was not a Windows machine at all.
Okay,
if that's what you were saying.
Yeah, so I might have been insinuating that, but I actually had to get. As soon as you texted me that it didn't exist, I was like, oh no, now I have to find out. And I texted my older brother.
I spent a long time. Looking for this.
You should have just asked me first.
But I wanted to prove you wrong.
But I knew it was for real, and I just had to ask my older brother, who is basically, he's kind of like the, for me, you know, he's 3 years older than me, and so everything that I thought was cool and did when I was little, he was doing it before I was, and he told me how to do it or wouldn't let me do it because I was too little. So he's like the guru for games in my young childhood years.
So which category did Google fall into? Was this a game that he tried to keep you from, or a game that he explained to you?
I think it was one of the games I was allowed to play because it was an educational game.
The educational games back then, they were just... They would put educational stuff in the most random, weird games just to get people to buy it, and the parents think that it was cool.
Yeah, and in fact, I remember Math Castle was another one, like where you basically use equations to shoot down alien spaceships. Like you solve an equation.
The first game I ever actually beat was this game called Cave of the Word Wizard. and this was cool. So this was Commodore 64. And the spelling, the spelling aspect to it, and the spelling aspect was just completely put in there to get parents to buy this stupid game for their kids. Because you're this kid who gets trapped in the Cave of the Word Wizard, and the wizard is just this sadistic old guy who likes, you know, to make kids gather these crystals and dodge all these.
That sounds really familiar.
Yeah, you had to jump over pits and scorpions and spiders, and you had so much time because of your flashlight. But then the educational part was every once in a while, the word wizard would just pop up and tell you to spell something. Now, this is through the Commodore 64 sound system, okay? And so Drum, can you bring up a clip of the word wizard trying to get you to spell something?
Run.
Yeah, so that's what you're listening to.
Oh, wow.
And so then you had to spell it, and if you spelled it right, then he would give you more Band-Aids and battery life on your flashlight. And Band-Aid, every time you fell or, you know, got a spider cut or something, you put a Band-Aid on it and you were fine.
Spider cut?
A spider bite, that's what I meant.
I was like, that sounds really awesome.
Yeah, so they're very large. They actually were large spiders.
That's scary.
But yeah, so like, you know, the educational part was just the most worthless part about this game. But it got people to buy the stupid thing.
Right. Duped parents into buying a game for their kids.
Exactly. Yeah.
Cool.
And so the other little piece that we need to address is in one of our first episodes, you said that hipsters needed to go away and not listen.
Oh, did I say that?
And I reminded you that there were only certain types of people who listened to retro gaming podcasts, and hipsters were a large part of that. And you said that if our listenership dropped after that episode, that you would issue an apology.
Wait a second. Let me guess. It didn't drop.
No, it did. Quite dramatically.
So I have to apologize? Is this the moment where I apologize?
Yes. And all the hipsters, in hipster fashion, made a big deal about leaving the podcast and noted their disgust on Facebook because it's not official unless it's on social media.
Well, I would like to respond and with an apology, but maybe let me just say this. A true hipster doesn't believe he's a hipster. No true hipster identifies as a hipster, actually. In fact, it's so I've insulted the false hipsters. And the false hipsters also no.
So during your apology, you're now insulting them further by saying you're not even a real hipster. You're like a hipster that's
do you know a
wannabe
hipster that says I'm a hipster? I mean,
not a real hipster.
Not real hipster. Okay, so people use that I'm a hipster, but it's kind of like a funny like ha ha ha. I'm something. I'm not really a hipster. They're just saying that kind of like it's like a joke. The true hipsters, I think they would be offended if you called them a hipster because it's too poppy. It's too pop culture to be a hipster.
Gotcha, yeah.
And that's what they stand against. So maybe I've helped the actual hipster community by purifying their ranks.
But they would never know that because they don't believe that they're hipsters.
Then they wouldn't have left the show.
Well, no, those are the fake hipsters.
So I'm issuing an apology to the real hipsters.
Right. So the real hipsters have now had a life improvement because of you.
So maybe I'm not apologizing. Maybe I'm just congratulating them.
Yes, but they don't know that you're talking to them because they don't believe they're hipsters.
Oh wait, this is getting complicated.
So, I mean, this is like truly, truly altruistic on your part because you have done something for a community that will never be recognized, that will never be appreciated, and in fact has decreased our listenership quite dramatically.
So I've sacrificed.
And given us a bad press.
Yeah. All in the name of purifying the ranks of hipsters.
Of purifying their ranks.
So, but let me say this to the fake hipsters who want to be real hipsters. Come back because I'm actually helping you to realize that being a real hipster requires the purification of the ranks. And so I apologize that you left. I'm sorry for you. And now I'm saying, come back and don't call yourself a hipster. Be a hipster. Live it. Don't say, put your style where your mouth is or however the saying goes. Don't, live like a hipster. Don't say you're a hipster.
Put your style where your mouth is?
Like money where your mouth is, except with style. Okay.
Okay. So now what you're saying is that if you are a fake hipster that left the show because of our comments about hipsters, then the only way to prove that you are a true hipster is to come back and listen.
Yes. You said it much better than I was saying it.
Gotcha. So if these fake hipsters do not listen to the show and continue to put bad things about us on the internet, then they are fake hipsters and deserve their fate.
Yes.
That sounds good to me.
Okay.
All right. So to Tetris.
Tetris.
Steven, have you played Tetris?
Yes. Who has not played Tetris? Raise your hand.
Drum. We weren't really counting you.
Yeah, put your hand down.
I do not play video games.
We know.
I never was good at it, and it used to drive me crazy, but I think I played it because of the music.
We're gonna play the song later. You don't have to sing it. You don't have to sing it.
In case we weren't playing, I didn't know we were going to play it, so I just wanted to give a little clip of what to expect later. I actually really enjoyed some.
The music is fantastic.
Oh, dude,
we're going to talk about it.
Okay,
later,
good.
Yeah.
Okay, because there are some tributes to that music, like some techno ones that do that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and they do like
we gotta find that.
Okay, yeah, we'll find it. Maybe we could find it for whatever. But yeah, I love the game because the music is good by itself, and it's definitely has this. Russian, I guess the developer was a Russian guy.
Yeah.
But it's got this really,
we're going to talk about the music later because I got stuff on that.
Okay, go.
So, I'm very interested in talking about Tetris because since Tetris and I guess since Dr. Mario, because Dr. Mario was pretty well respected, but since then, puzzle games have not really been in the forefront all that much, except in the kind of mobile platform that, people constantly mock, like Candy Crush. And
Is that a puzzle?
it is a puzzle.
Oh, I've never played it.
Oh, so you just mock it without actually knowing what it is. That's such a hipster. No, I'm sorry. So we, you know, we're mocking it on the mobile platform. But I really think that's mostly to do with the fact that these games, the mobile games are mostly driven for the in-app purchases thing. You know, they're trying to get you to buy some power up or something in the store. And that honestly has been a plague on the mobile industry. We will almost certainly do an episode about that at some point. But back then, Tetris was very well regarded. And I mean, I know a lot of people who even, really treated it like one of those educational games that, you know, well, this is fine for little Johnny to be playing. He's using his cognitive abilities and figuring out these puzzles and that sort of thing.
Yeah. No, it's, I sucked at it. And so I just, whenever I think of that game, I just remember other people being really good at it, and I got the little screen or whatever, all the blocks go up in the same color, and it just basically says you failed. But it didn't
Right.
stop me from desiring to do better at it. And
Yeah.
I guess my question is though, Kai, because I hear this a lot, you know, in defense of gaming or video games, and it definitely applies that a game like Tetris is, it improves hand-eye coordination, or it builds, your cognitive, but really? Like, even if it does that, how does that, I've always wanted to know, how does that actually benefit you in life? Now, I'm saying this from the stance of, I'm a gamer. I like to game. I want desperately for a reason to play games to be like actually something that's going to enable me to do something else better in life. But
Right.
So what guy
Maybe if they're like a game of the stock market and you got really good at that and then you just started, moving to the stock market.
Yeah, but it's like that's not how it is. I mean, the only thing I could think of is I spent some time
In the
doing
Mudville 9?
Doing what?
In the Mudville 9?
In the Mudfield 9?
Mudville? Never mind.
Oh no, I missed that one completely. I'm sorry. I'll
explain it to you later.
Okay. But
Somebody in our audience got it.
and that's what matters.
Probably a hipster.
Yeah, but wouldn't identify as one. But I'm starting to have an identity crisis over that whole hipster thing now. Am I a jerk hipster?
Is your shirt ironic? Are you drinking coffee right now?
My shirt doesn't have anything on it, which is ironic. And
I am wearing a Star Wars shirt, so I'm more in danger than you are, I think, right now.
no, but Star Wars isn't ironic.
That's true.
You're actually very safe.
Okay, no, let's get back to the point, because this was a really good question. And your question is...
my question is, what the flip? I want games to be making me a better person or smarter or be better at life. And I hear sometimes a gamer throw out that, you increase your hand-eye coordination, or you figure out how to do stuff better. Like with Tetris, you know how to stack things better. That affects your IQ. How does that help me bring home a bigger paycheck? Or how does that help me raise my kids better? Or whatever.
And this is something that I do think that we actually do need to do an entire episode on at some point. But no, I mean, we both grew up in that era that kids were desperately trying to justify, buying video games to their parents. It's like, yes, this is a puzzle game. It makes you smarter. Get it for me and I can study, or the Cave of the Word Wizard. It's going to help me spell. You can't actually understand the stupid wizard when he does stuff, but, it'll help me spell. And I don't think we need to do that, honestly. And it's like, okay, and you know that I love speed running. You know that I love the marathons, the ones they do for charity, like, Games Done Quick, like Limit Break, some of my favorites. But every time there's a Games Done Quick, I see people posting that, hey, we just raised $2 million for charity. Hopefully people will start taking gaming seriously. And that I think is just the wrong category for video games. And I think the wrong category for video games is this going to teach me how to make more money? You know, video games are either going to fall into the category of entertainment and art. And we don't go watch, you know, the newest Avengers movie and think, how is this going to help me make money in the future? It's entertainment. It's art. You know, we go to enjoy ourselves, to enrich our lives. And I think video games need to sit in that category, and I'm okay with it. I think there actually are studies that say it improves hand-eye coordination, which,
what does that do?
What?
My question is, what does hand-eye coordination do for you?
Well, if you're fighting ninjas. Okay. So hand-eye coordination is when the ninjas do the shuriken or the blow dart, then or an arrow.
Okay. Or the little smoke bomb?
Catch it. No, not the smoke bomb. You can't catch smoke.
That's what they disappear with. But if you had a good hand-eye coordination, you could catch it before the little glass bead broke. Or at least in the smoke.
Yes. That's not as cool in my mind as catching an arrow.
Yeah, okay.
Like, shoo, pa, ha! You know, that's awesome.
You have to say the ha too. Oh!
Yeah.
Oh!
And you know, like, fling it aside and be all Bruce Lee after that. But yeah, diving down and catching the smoke bomb before it hits the ground. It's just,
now you're on the ground, prostrated before a ninja.
In front of the ninja. Like 3 inches away from the ninja.
He just does a neck chop and you're finished.
So yeah, don't do that. When the ninja's doing the neck chop, then that, hand-eye coordination, gets you to, you know, block it in time. And so this is very important life skills that will help you make money.
Yeah.
If your job is fighting ninjas.
Hand-eye coordination and other skills? What can we think? What else? Catching, things your brother threw at you, you know, out of the air. I mean, what else is hand-eye coordination? How can it turn a profit, or how can it?
Well, if you're a baseball player, it's big.
But you should have been playing baseball. Like, playing catch.
Well, yeah. Yeah, but, you know.
So you mean like if you're a pro sports player, then.
No. What you do is you train baseball for hours upon hours upon hours. Then you come in and you play Tetris. And that.
You just kind of even work it even a little more.
Yeah, it's like, oh, now
exercising that little muscle, you know, that you might not have in your hand or in your.
I was thinking the brain.
Oh.
But yeah, your thumb.
Well, that's a little muscle too for me, the brain. Anyway, so it's a puzzle game, and people love it, but it doesn't really. But you know what? Before we go on, I want to say something about. I remember watching
because we haven't hit our topic at all today.
Oh, I thought Tetris was our topic.
Well, yeah, but we've been talking about hand-eye coordination and IQ, and
what always bothers me. I had to bring it up, and maybe I should have said so before. Let me just tell you. Kai, when people talk about the benefits of gaming, I always get like, because I wanted to find them so bad. But
so basically you spent your life gaming, and now you play the synth in a band, and do podcasting, and you're like, what has all my training amounted to?
Yeah. How am I using the hand-eye coordination that I perfected?
I think it's probably helping you hit the keys at a proper time.
I didn't think of that.
So like you're really hitting that beat, you know, at the exact moment.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and go with that.
Yeah. So
gaming is because this is the reason I can play.
Yeah. This is your entire career. Your entire career. Everything that you've made of yourself is because of video gaming.
I'm kind of ready to play a little ditty on the keyboard, but, no, I just, the game Tetris just, you know, I think that it had more of a wide appeal to across gender barriers in terms of girls. I knew a lot of girls that played it, a lot of boys that played it. I didn't know a lot of girls that played, a lot of the action games. And I just remember, I think even my mom would sit down with the Game Boy and play Tetris.
You know who's better at Tetris than you? Your mom.
No, I knew I set myself up. As soon as you said, you know, and I knew exactly what you were saying. It broke my heart. The little pieces.
All right. A couple of background things before we hit the break is, so the Tetris, we're going to get into the cultural aspects of Tetris, but you can't play Tetris and not know that this is a Russian developed game. It's like the identity of the culture stamped all over this game. It's really
the pieces
interesting.
Look like
Russian
buildings.
But the word Tetris is, if you don't know, a combination of the prefix for 4, which is tetra, and I believe tennis. So Tetris, and so I don't
for tennis.
I probably should have looked up more about the tennis part. But the tetra part, that's important because it's 4.
Every block is 4 pieces.
Every block is 4 pieces, and I believe that you have every possible combination at your disposal of how those 4 blocks can fit together. Can you think of one that is not there?
I don't know what you said, so I can't respond.
Okay, you have 4 blocks.
Mm-hmm.
And
the square block, the L block,
right.
The straight block, and the
little curly
T block.
Q, the L. Did you say L?
I said L, T, square, and line.
And the little S or Z.
And the S.
Right. So I think
five.
I think that's all the possible combinations that
blocks can be.
That 4 blocks can be. I might be wrong.
Yeah.
We probably should research more.
During the break, we'll get a pad of paper and we'll,
That was loud.
That was loud. Who was that? Drum? Who was that?
That was a call on line 1.
We're really supposed to turn down that little beep. Hold on, let me turn it down.
Tetris.
Steven, you're supposed to fill dead air. Come on.
Tetris.
Okay, well, I tell you what, let's go ahead and take our break, and then we'll listen to some Tetris music, and then we'll hit up on that caller on line 1 as soon as we get back.
He comes in the night, seemingly out of nowhere, a blur of yellow whose only mission is justice. His name is already legend, but the reality doesn't quite line up with the myth, and we're about to find out exactly how wrong we've been about him. He is the Yellow Canary. The Yellow Canary is a comedic thriller by Paul Lytle about a would-be superhero who may just be crazy enough to make a difference. The Yellow Canary by Paul Lytle, available from Amazon in print and on Kindle. Check for the link in the show notes.
Hey Drum, did you know that the Techno Funk Boy isn't just a group of podcast hosts that live inside a Super Nintendo?
Really?
That's right, we're also a band.
Tell me more.
We're a retro gaming inspired band that plays covers of classic video game themes, original game music, and other music in the style of classic games.
That sounds great.
Yeah, and you can find our first full-length album on iTunes, Amazon, and CD Baby. It's called the Final Fantasy Mixes, and it's an EDM tribute to some of Uematsu's best musical themes. Check the episode notes for links or go to Techno Funk Boy to learn more.
Techno Funk Boy sounds like the greatest band that has ever existed.
I programmed him to say that.
I'm back.
All right, welcome back. I guess, should we go ahead and hit the caller?
Let's hit
I
the
guess
caller
we're-
in the face.
Okay,
Not really.
All right, we're trying to make an effort to be nicer to the callers.
Yeah, we had that thing where we don't.
We're trying not to be evil anymore.
Have we? Okay, so wait, before this caller comes on, before we accept this call, let me just set the stage. Have we kicked every single other caller off?
No. Paul Lytle called last week.
Oh, but he's a sponsor.
He's a sponsor.
Aside from sponsors.
He was not happy with you
Oh, yeah.
because you volunteered him to teach an old guy
What's up with
how to
that?
use a controller. He might be calling. He might call you later.
Well,
but
that's fine.
well,
We've kicked everybody else
the
off.
senator from last week was a guest, and so he
Yeah,
wasn't really
I'm talking
a
about
caller.
callers.
Yeah.
I think we've kicked every caller off. Let's just go with that. If not, there might have been one that slipped through the cracks. Let's try to be kind.
You're right. Yeah, we're gonna be nice to people.
All right, we're gonna be nice from now on because we've been kind of aggressive with callers.
Right. All right. Okay. So, all right. Let's hit it up. Drum. What? Who do we have on the line?
We have Tess on line 1.
Did you write a new subroutine for him?
You know, we might have had a couple drinks together, and I initiated a subroutine that allowed a little more independence. He might have actually taken that on his own.
Wow.
Built that subroutine himself.
Can you do that?
You know, Drum is actually capable of quite a number of things if you get to know him.
It's a little scary.
Yeah. Yes.
Especially because he was designed to be
A trash can.
an evil robot.
That's right. Well, he's turning out to be a pretty good producer, I might say so myself.
All right. Tess, you're on the line.
That's Les.
Sorry, Les.
You know, Lester.
Oh, Lester. Yeah. We, Steven, Lester and I talked on Twitter the other day.
Oh.
He has a Kickstarter going on that he
Lester.
kind of wanted to discuss with us, and it is somewhat related to Tetris, and so I asked him to give us a call on today's show.
That's awesome. All right, let's hear about it.
All right.
Lester.
You can call me Les.
Les.
Or Lester's fine. Whatever.
Lester.
Whatever, man. So, yeah. So I am designing a video game, and it's a puzzle game, and this is not going to be one of those in-app purchases game. It's going to be straight up fun.
Good.
No additional costs.
Nice.
So, what this is it's very much inspired by Tetris, but instead of the 4 blocks,
Yeah.
it's 5.
Oh,
It's
dang.
5. It's like the step up. You know what I'm saying? It's like the step up.
It's like one louder.
Right, yeah. You get it. I feel a connection here. I feel simpatico. You know what I mean?
Simpatico.
Right. So
what's the difference? What's the objective?
it's the complexity of it. It's for people who want to take a step up from Tetris. It is a lot like Tetris, except 5 blocks in all of the permutations that come with 5 blocks.
Permutation.
So this can be like really complicated. So like you can have the plus sign, right? And that's not going to be that hard to deal with. But what if pops up, you have the X. You know what I mean?
Ooh,
That might be tougher to deal with, right?
how can you do that?
Right. That's where you got to get the little gray cells a burning. That's where you got to get your brain power in gear.
Okay.
So because there's so many different permutations of these blocks, right? The straight line is going to be much less common. But you can get a 5-line Tetris, which of course won't be called Tetris anymore
What's it called?
because Tetra
called?
is the name for 4. I'm getting to that. Wait.
Okay, I'm excited.
Let me do my pitch.
Okay.
son. All right.
Okay.
We're getting there. All right. So now, if you get on my Kickstarter, and y'all will put up the link to the Kickstarter, sure.
Yeah, just send it to me. I don't think you actually sent it to me earlier.
No, I get it to you. It's cool. So, for $10, this is a full PC game.
Should
This
be
is not-
$5. Okay, sorry.
Okay, you just look. If this is only worth $5 for you, that's fine. It's not for you. It's not for you.
Okay.
This is a full PC game. It's not an app. It's not for your mobile. Something you've got to sit down and work through. Guaranteed to raise your hand-eye coordination and your IQ.
Oh, dang.
Is that not worth $10?
I need that.
Hey,
I don't know why, but I need it.
If you can't see that this is worth $10 to you, then you need the IQ boost that will accompany
You know
this
what?
game.
I'm just that convinced me.
So $10.
Okay.
$9.99. I just took a penny off.
Oh.
I just took a penny off.
Man,
That's 0.1% off the price right now.
great. All right, keep going. I'm excited.
Then you can get the full edition of this game.
Whole milk version.
The what?
The whole milk version. Not getting the skin milk.
That's right.
All right.
That's right. I knew it. We were like connected.
I can see
We're
our brainwaves.
connected.
Just-
This is good.
Okay.
This is good. All right. I need to discuss this with you further. I think you have good ideas. I think we can do a skim milk one for the mobile platform. And that one could be $5 for people who don't want quite as big of the IQ boost.
There's a lot of people out there that want a small IQ boost.
That's right. So, 5 blocks, 5-line Tetris. You said before, Tetris comes from the word tetra, which means 4. Do you know what the word for 5 is?
Quincy?
Penta.
Oh.
Penta. So my game is called Pinterest. I was just joking with y'all. Bye.
Did you just hang up on us?
I think that was a prank call, dude.
We got a prank call.
Dude, I like this product.
I was kind of getting into it.
I was ready to sell it.
Yeah.
Pinterest.
Dang.
So the game has already been invented. It's actually consumed billions of hours of productive time that...
Except it's not as cool as Tetris.
I think people might argue that it's cooler. I mean, it's used more.
Yeah. Well, that's true. That is definitely true.
And I'm depressed. I was like...
See, we made this resolution to not hang up on people, and we got someone who hung up on us.
You know, well, that's karma.
So like, are the next several callers just going to be getting us back?
That actually, I would feel better about it, because actually, that was pretty cathartic, having somebody hang up on us. I'm like, okay. You know, at first, it was still stinging. A little pride was hurt a little bit.
Right.
But now I'm like, we needed that. You know? We needed somebody else to mess with us, and we got it.
All right. Well, getting back to the music that we played during the break, I got to tell you, I mean, there are very few Game Boy soundtracks that I enjoyed that much. But the first song that we played is referred to in the game as Music A, and it screams Russia.
Mother Russia.
Right. And the reason it screams Russia is it's like a traditional Russian folk tune. It's called, and I'm going to mispronounce this, Korabainiki. Right. We have just alienated our entire Russian audience. So for our Russian audience, those who have hung on, please do correct me in the pronunciation of that. Music B is original to the game, and that's the second song that we heard, but I still think it has that kind of Russian feel to it. And that is kind of what I wanted to talk about pretty briefly here. Is there are very few games that have as much of a cultural identity as Tetris does.
Isn't it funded by the Russian government?
Well, no. As I understand the history, this dude invented it, but he's this Soviet citizen, and
so it was funded by the Russian government.
Pretty much, and it was taken by the Russian government, and it was just kind of declared their own because it's Russia. You can still like ship this game, and it would be nearly as fun as just just a game, but you had images of the very Russian architecture. Everybody, you had the very Russian music. Everybody knew this as a Russian game. And that's very interesting to me because I don't see that in very many other games. In a lot of games, you kind of get, either a Japanese or an American feel to it, but you don't have something that is so distinctly, one culture,
Right.
as this whole game just kind of feels.
Right. I mean, you can play it and you can skip your school's field trip to Russia because you feel like you've already been.
What kind of school did you go to that you had a field trip to Russia?
One that, loved Tetris.
We're going to the home of Tetris.
No, it definitely has a very, obviously a very Russian feel to it, but, and even the blocks themselves kind of look like, like Russian buildings. I don't know. And like you stack them. How do you fit all these Russian things into, all these little buildings together? Like I don't know. I'm sure the engineers that developed large swaths of apartment blocks in, Russia used the game as inspiration to how they could, fit a bunch of, I don't know. Can I say that on the air? I mean,
okay.
it's not meant to be derogatory.
That's exactly how construction works.
I think so. I mean, if I were to get into construction, I would make all of my underlings play Tetris first, a lot, and be good at it. Because obviously, if you can play Tetris and stack blocks really well, really fast, you can probably build things fast and well. And it's kind of like an IQ test. Too. So if somebody's terrible at it,
this is a case where you would say that playing the game definitely does make you some money later in life, and makes you a better,
I think,
better construction worker.
I think we've come full circle. I mean, I think I'm actually now softening. At first, at the beginning of this episode, I was a little frustrated because I felt like that had been pushed on me. But now I'm starting to think, games do have a way of, if you play Tetris all the time, you can stack things really well.
As somebody who's done a lot of help moving people, I will say Tetris has a very practical application when you're packing a moving van.
Maybe U-Haul and other moving companies, people, maybe they should be playing the Tetris theme in their offices.
In the office.
Yeah.
You used to start up the van and
dude, I would be much more inclined to stack things well if I heard
you get really
music.
pumped into it. It's like, all right, let's get this stuff together. Let's go. That's great. So there's been, just, a little bit further in the history, there's been, several different, iterations of this game. The one I want to mention, and this, because of my love of speed running, is one that if you've never seen a Games Done Quick event or something like that, you really should look up the Tetris, the Grandmaster runs. Because these games are designed for Tetris masters. And there's even some levels in these games with invisible blocks where you can see them when they're falling, but once they set in place, they become invisible. So you have to have the board memorize where you have put everything and where what you're trying to do. And the people at Games Done Quick, are just amazing at this game. And those runs will make your head spin. They're really fantastic.
Yeah, that makes my head spin thinking about it, actually.
All right. So it kind of feels like we're out of time, but it feels like it went really fast today. That may be because I spent the first 5 minutes of the episode outside.
Yeah, well, there was that ninja hunting part that you went on. And in fact, I had Drum schedule you you might want to free up your morning tomorrow. You might have a call from Drum or somebody else reminding you about something tomorrow.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, just keep your morning open.
Yeah,
and
like a special event
from 9:30 to 10:30 maybe, or 9:30.
Maybe like a band appearance. Is that gonna be cool?
Something kind of a solo vocal performance.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, I can do it.
Okay.
I'm up for it.
Yeah, 9:30.
Great.
It's at Dr. Flinky's. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Yeah. And I think also the having Tetris as a theme makes this show feel like we got a lot more done and a lot faster.
Yeah, very organized.
Yeah, very organized.
Yes, everything fit together quite nicely. In fact, yes.
Yep.
And now, the ending music is going to come on about now, and it's our straight piece that's coming to complete the Tetris.
Mm-hmm.
And
Here it comes. It's
Right.
beautifully descending upon you, all the ears,
Right.
the minds of the listeners, the hearts.
Our show notes, we're going to do this start doing this a little bit differently. We're going to put the show notes now on our website at technofunkboy.com/whatever episode you're currently listening to. So this is episode 6. So if you go to technofunkboy.com/6, you're going to find our show notes. Please do, while you're there, sign up for our newsletter, where we have a lot of fun stuff in store for that. Some more free music. If you have not picked up Roots Digital, our release from last week, you can do so there while you're signing up for the newsletter, and basically check it out. I think you're going to be really interested in the website and all the stuff that we have there. So thanks so much for joining us today. We'll catch you next week.
The Retro Zoo Super Show is brought to you by the Techno Funk Boy. Follow us on Twitter at Techno Funk Boy, on Facebook at the Techno Funk Boy, and sign up for our email list at technofunkboy.com. Also look for us on Spotify, iTunes, and Amazon for music. If you are so inclined, please leave us a 5-star rating and review on your favorite podcast catcher. If you are not so inclined, you are obviously some sort of villain trying to conquer the world. Unowned music and gameplay clips are used for educational and critical purposes. Thank you for listening. Keep gaming. Unless you have responsibilities that need to be done at this time, then you can game later.